Our next guests have traveled the world chasing their dream to produce a new travel show for the internet. But while most producers look for as large an audience as they can, these guys are focusing on an audience of one. They're trying to catch the attention of TV chef and personality Anthony Bourdain. And they have a Kickstarter campaign going on in hopes of making that possible.
Their show is called Hostile Living, and today on Bridge Street we have the director of photography Mark Kelly along with the director-producer Ray Williams are joining us. Good morning.
So this time around, Ray says he wants to go to Vietnam. Unfortunately, the rest of the guys have finally had enough with Ray's seemingly unavoidable gravity towards danger and want nothing to do with this trip.
It's definitely the most physically and mentally exhausting thing I've ever done.
My side kind of hurts because he crashed off the road. It was tiring. I wouldn't be able to do that like anymore.
So it looks like it's just going to be me and Ray this time.
So Hostile Living, as awesome as we are, doesn't look like we're ever going to get off the ground by ourselves. We need something, we need someone to help get us to that next level.
So Ray's always had a little bit of an obsession with Anthony Bourdain, but lately it's been getting really bad. Now he tells me that the reason we're going to Vietnam is to find Anthony Bourdain. Now, I shouldn't really be surprised by this. When we went to Colombia, he had us hitchhike across the country to track down Pablo Escobar's brother. And needless to say, that didn't turn out very well.
I don't know.
And he's told me 100 times about the time he went to Iceland to track down Al Roker and get on the Today Show. And he did find Al Roker, but when they went to interview him, he just froze. So I guess naturally, I don't think this is a good idea. But this is what Ray wants to do. And at the end of the day, he's paying for the trip.
Good morning, Vietnam! I've waited 30, 35 hours, whatever it's been, to say that. So we just got here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. 36 hours in transit, 14-hour layovers, hardly got any sleep. But it's all worth it because we're here and it's sunny, it's warm, and we're in a place that we've never been before. We haven't even left the airport and it's just buzzing with life and excitement, so I'm pumped. How about you, bro? You excited?
Yeah.
Can you act like you're excited, please, just for a second? On a lighter note, you know this is his favorite place in the world, right? Anthony Bourdain. So I got a tip that Anthony Bourdain, someone who's very influential to me, is going to be here in Vietnam. So we're here to track him down. We're here to find him, to get him on the show, because this is exactly what Hostile Living needs. I'm just excited to be here and really looking forward to start exploring Vietnam and seeing what this amazing country has to offer. The initial thing that you notice here in Vietnam is the fact that the streets are chaos. There's motorcycles everywhere. There does not seem to be any rhyme or reason, and yet everyone seems to have an idea of exactly what's going on.
Ho Chi Minh City, located in the southern part of the country, is the largest city in Vietnam. Formerly known as Saigon, it played a pivotal role in the Vietnam War. It is a high-octane city of commerce and culture that has driven the whole country forward with its pulsating energy. With a population of 12.8 million, it's expected to jump to 20 million by the year 2020. My name is Dr. Ryan P. Wadsworth. The boys will call me from time to time when they find themselves in need of a little expert opinion or educated analysis on what they're getting themselves into. I hold a litany of prestigious degrees from the finest institutions, colleges, and universities from throughout the world.
All right, thank you.
Action.
Welcome to Hostile Living, Vietnam. I stepped off the plane yesterday and I was immediately captivated by the smells, the sounds, the sights, the colors of Vietnam.
Cut.
So Ray said that he got a tip that Anthony Bourdain is going to be here in Vietnam. Now, I know for a fact that Ray doesn't know a single person in the industry, so I can't even begin to imagine where he's getting this information from.
So Anthony Bourdain ate here, and we're hoping that whoever works here is going to offer up some clues as to his whereabouts, and hopefully take us one step closer to finding Anthony Bourdain.
But our plan almost got immediately derailed by the fact that
There's a lot of white people here too. Kind of surprised. Hey guys. Hey, hi, how are you? Good. My name is Ray. I'm from a travel show back in the States called Hostile Living.
What a surprise. They've never heard of Hostile Living.
Do you mind if I ask you guys a few questions? Sure. Okay. What brings you guys here?
We are actually living in Bangkok right now, but some of our friends were here in October and they love this place.
Is that the only reason why you're here?
And we have a 3-day weekend.
So it's got nothing to do with the fact that Anthony Bourdain came here?
Nope, I have no idea.
Do you guys know who Anthony Bourdain is?
Yes.
Well, I was a bit concerned at first because I wasn't sure if I was the only one trying to find him, but you guys aren't looking for him.
No, that's right. But good food. Yeah.
But it's good food?
Yeah. We're always on the lookout.
That's what Tony said, so it's okay. All right. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
I don't buy it.
you don't buy what? I'm not a big believer in coincidences at all. So the only logical thing for me to think at this point is that we're not alone. There's other people out here looking for Anthony Bourdain.
Logical is probably the last word I would use in this situation.
I don't think it's just a coincidence that they're here.
I don't know who these people are, but I definitely don't trust them.
What else could it be? Like, we're in a pretty remote area right now. Like, and there's just 4 Americans, first table. There's no way they didn't know he was here. Are you the owner? The boss? Have you seen this man? He was here.
Because it's 2 months ago. 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
That's right.
And that sounds about right. 2 months ago?
Not correct, yeah.
Okay. This way.
Okay. White House.
So we're told that Anthony Bourdain is in this White House. That woman seemed extremely confident and she knew exactly where she was going. Question is, how does she know where Tony or Anthony Bourdain lives? Excuse me? Hi.
Oh, we're filming it.
Have you seen this man? Thank you. So, have you seen him?
You look the hotel.
Yes, okay.
You know, you
I show you.
Yes.
No, I show you the police station.
Keep that way. Over there?
But I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know him.
Corner
Down there.
and then cross daytime straight.
Okay.
That's the next main street.
In these local markets in Ho Chi Minh City, you can literally find anything that you're looking for. For example, this is called a bonsai mushroom. Locals tell me that consuming just one of these mushrooms ensures the perfect night's sleep. They warn me, however, that some people experience lucid, extremely vivid dreams. Interestingly enough though, they say that the Vietnamese soldiers during the war stationed in the Cu Chi tunnels used to eat these because it was the only way to ensure a perfect night's sleep. Tonight, I'm gonna see for myself.
Cut.
During my younger years, when I studied in Southeast Asia, I had my fair share of experiences with the bonsai mushroom. So I became quite familiar with both the effects and the potency. So of course, I urged Ray to proceed with caution while ingesting the fungi.
We're still only a few days into the trip, and so we are still pretty desperate for any sort of footage we can get. After all, we are here to film a show. And so we decided to rent some scooters and get a local to help show us around.
Oh my god, holy shit.
So there we were, driving through miles and miles of beautiful countryside, and all of a sudden we came across what looked like a party. But our guide told us that it was actually a wedding.
Okay, we can go there. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm 100%. We can go there.
On a side note, my dad actually served in the Vietnam War. So maybe through the stories and everything, I had different expectations as to what Vietnam was going to be like. And here we are driving closer and closer towards where my dad was actually stationed in the war. And we're gonna walk up on a group of strangers, basically gonna crash a wedding. People were just so welcoming. As soon as we got there was no questions asked. They were just giving us food, giving us drinks, dancing, making sure we were having a good time. Overall, it was just an amazing experience.
Come on! I'm looking for Anthony Bourdain. Has anyone seen him?
So as we're leaving, the story gets even better. I'm like, is that your typical wedding here in Vietnam? And the guy's like, actually I was wrong. That was a funeral. So we went from crashing a wedding to crashing a funeral in the matter of 45 minutes.
I don't even know what to say right now. I have no idea.
So after a few more days of pounding around the city on this, let's face it, pretty ridiculous quest, it got to the point where Ray just really started to irritate me. He's been asking me to do all of these really odd shots, shots that are completely out of character for our show.
There's one thing I need to get off my list, the chicken foot.
For example, he dragged me around for hours the other day looking for the perfect location to open our episode. And it was in front of some 5-star hotel. I mean, it made no sense to me. So,
what? This is it.
What?
This spot.
This place. Are you kidding me right now? Of all the places. This is like a 5-star hotel.
Right here. This is it. This feels right. This has got pizzazz.
Pizzazz.
Yeah, pizzazz. This is beautiful.
So I decided just to do some quick research and watch Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations in Vietnam, and within seconds, it all made sense. Watch this.
It goes on. This is from the quintessential Vietnam book, The Quiet American by Graham Greene, which of course I read every single time I come to Vietnam.
This is The Quiet American by Graham Greene. The quintessential Vietnam book. It's amazing. It came recommended that everyone who comes to Vietnam reads this book.
I mean, grilled chicken, there's nothing more beloved by Americans.
In America, there's no other flavor more beloved than grilled chicken.
We can't use any of this. We cannot use any of this footage. So basically I have to confront him at this point because I'm like definitely losing my patience.
So I'm in the shower and all of a sudden I hear pounding on the door and Mark says that he needs to see me right away. So I get dressed, I go out to the common area, and there's 3 or 4 cameras in my face.
You have to tell me what's going on.
It's literally an ambush.
And we're on some kind of quest to recreate an Anthony Bourdain trip or something?
No.
And why are we ripping off all the shots?
No, we haven't ripped out any of his shots.
We've ripped off a lot of shots. Blatantly ripped them off. As insane as it sounds, I'm fine with tracking down Anthony
Fine,
Bourdain.
but it's not insane, thank you.
But we can't rip his shots off.
I'm not ripping his shots off. We're just
Yeah,
trying to impress him.
blatantly
We're
ripping
just,
off.
it's not.
We're not gonna be able to get. It's a waste of time. We can't use any of that shit.
It's not a waste of time. If we impress Anthony Bourdain and we find him, he's the closest thing we have right now to get hostile living to the next level. We have a lot in common, and he's gonna love our stuff.
You don't have anything in common with Anthony Bourdain.
What are you talking about, bro?
Dude, you don't even eat the food here.
You never have any faith in me at all. I take responsibility, I'm gonna find him, and once I do, you're gonna thank me.
Alright, so it is about 11 o'clock. Got a tip that Anthony has moved up to Hoboken, and that's where we're gonna go.
All the clues, all the tips have gone cold.
I was all about checking out more of the country. I was just a little concerned as to why we're going.
So there's a couple different options on how to get to Hoi An. We can obviously fly, there's a bus, but we're really more interested in taking the train.
Walking around the city looking for Anthony Bourdain, that was one thing. But now we're talking about spending a considerable amount of time and money.
We have a 15 to 17 hour train ride ahead of us.
Personally, I think it's highly unlikely that Anthony Bourdain is actually in the country right now. It just makes me wonder where Ray's getting his information from.
Not to mention, it'll give us a pretty cool opportunity to see parts of Vietnam that we would never have seen from the plane.
We are on hour 17 of our overland trip up to Da Nang, in which case we're going to jump on a bus and head out to Hoi An.
Located in central Vietnam on the coast of the South China Sea, Hoi An is an exceptionally well-preserved example of a Southeast Asian trading port dating from the 15th to 19th century. Its buildings and its street plan reflect the influences, both indigenous and foreign, that have combined to produce this unique heritage site.
So the center of town is absolutely chaotic. The market's bustling, lots of energy. But all you have to do is rent a bike and pedal out a mile in any direction, and you are literally transported back in time. Rice paddies, water buffalo, people on bicycles wearing bamboo hats. Amazing.
We're trying to find this woman.
So we came all this way on a tip, and it turns out that Ray's only piece of evidence is like this 7-year-old screenshot of a woman who sort of appeared on an episode of No Reservations.
And they think that they know where she is. You know where this man is?
Photo here?
Yeah. Have you seen him? Was he here today? Was he here today?
So I did eventually find her, and when I did, her and her friends told us that he was there that same day.
There must be some kind of communication breakdown happening or something, and they're not really understanding exactly what it is that we're asking them.
We're here in the Central Market in Hoi An, where our information tells us that Anthony Bourdain has been here in the past few days. He's been here before for his TV show, so it's very exciting because we are literally on his heels. He's still in the area, which means we have an excellent chance of actually tracking him down. Having the cow lao dish, it's a traditional dish here made from very traditional noodles. These noodles are actually distinct of this region here in Hoi An. And it's said that they get their distinct taste from the water and ash from the local well.
Cut. Bro, you said you're gonna stop ripping lines off.
Supposedly, ash and water from the village's central well give them their unique flavor.
But I changed the wording around. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Not only did one person confirm that he was there that day, but multiple people did. At this point, I'm ecstatic, and I'm just looking around, and Mark is being his same skeptical self. It's almost like he doesn't want to believe that this is about to happen.
The final piece of the puzzle, the last clue, is a red bridge. We need to find a red bridge that is attached to a cooking school.
It was said that Mr. Bourdain was looking to buy a piece of property next to a cooking school and a red bridge. So logic tells me that if we find this red bridge,
across the bridge, a cooking school for...
we're gonna find Anthony Bourdain.
Just start listening to me, please. This is real. Let's do this.
Even though this is completely absurd to me, what we're doing, we're following around 7-year-old evidence, basically. After what happened today at the markets, I actually am starting to worry that he might be here. And if he is, and we find him, especially going about it the way that we are, I don't think it's going to end well.
So the further and further we got out of town, the fewer people we found who spoke English. So we never had an exact location for the bridge. Really just, a general idea as to where it might be.
For the record, this is a really bad idea. And I think the only thing that's going to come out of this is a restraining order.
What do you think?
I don't know. I can't see it.
I mean, it's definitely a cooking school. I saw a dude with a chef jacket on, but I don't see a bridge. There's literally a wall of trees blocking everything. What if we climb on the top of that?
I don't think that's a good idea.
I can do it. Just watch. gotta be it. I've literally traveled halfway around the world and had to endure, so much skepticism, people calling me an idiot, a stalker, but whatever, I don't care. We found the Red Bridge, and I don't doubt for a millisecond that Anthony Bourdain is on the other side of that bridge.
I just got really nervous.
I've been nervous.
Let's just come back tomorrow, and then...
I'm not coming back tomorrow.
No, seriously, listen. Let's go back to the hostel.
I'm not
talk
coming
about
back
a
tomorrow,
plan,
dude.
like we know exactly where it is.
If you're gonna go now, because I'm not coming back tomorrow.
Are you sure this is a good idea right now?
I've been telling you this is a bad idea for the last
Well, it's not a bad
hour.
idea, actually. We figured out where it was. It's not a bad idea.
You're just questioning yourself now.
I'm questioning myself because I just want you to tell me just to go do it. Just stop being a little
I've
bitch.
been telling you to go do it. I have been. Just go. At this point, I was panicking. Essentially, we're breaking into somebody's property, so no one is going to be happy to see us.
Hi, how are you?
Where are you going?
Does Tony live here?
Toilet?
Tony? Anthony Bourdain?
I don't know.
Have you seen him?
Your friend?
Yeah. Is this a house or a restaurant?
The restaurant. How many
Years of restaurant.
years?
Yeah.
7 years.
7 years restaurant?
This has got to be the same piece of property. It had the view of the bridge. I mean, it had a pool.
Next thing I know, the lady that we were talking to, she was on the phone and she was pointing at us, and it definitely looked like she was calling the cops. She might be. She was just on the phone. I think we're seriously sketching the market.
Like she was on the phone?
Yeah. Like for real.
So at this point, I have absolutely no idea what's going on, and it's just getting really frustrating. I'm obviously not going to give up, but those women today at the market, that was real. Like they've seen him there. All the tips that I've gotten from my source, they've been good too. So this is good intel. It's just getting really frustrating.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that Anthony Bourdain didn't announce to the entire world where he'd be living.
So at this point, I need to go back to the hostel and to try to figure out exactly what the hell's going on.
Basically, I had had enough. This is insane what we're doing. But somehow, Ray doesn't seem to notice. On top of that, I'm just really sick of him being so secretive about everything. Alright, so Ray's been out there for a while now on the phone, and I'm pretty sure he's talking to his source. And I really want to know who this is. So I'm gonna
You have to understand where I'm coming from. We're here. We came up because, as of this point, all the clues started to.
Is that Wadsworth?
Why do you ask rhetorical
Raymond,
questions?
is that Mark?
Yes, it's Mark.
Mark, how are you, sir? How are you boys doing? Raymond told me you had a bit of bad luck yesterday.
I can't believe Wadsworth is your source. I definitely couldn't believe it when Ray's source turned out to be Dr. Wadsworth. Mostly because Ray's the one who's always discredited him. He says he's an idiot, and he's not a real doctor.
But doctor what? What is he a doctor in?
I don't know.
Are you really a professor?
I am a professor. I have many degrees.
In what?
And what they believed was that there was 144,000 tombs in a Bach tomb.
I just can't believe that he would come all this way and spend all this money on his word.
You didn't tell Mark that I've been helping you.
No, because it's none of
No, he
his
didn't.
business.
It is his business, Ray. The more you guys share. Look, it's you two against the world out there.
I'm beginning to fear that Ray is becoming a bit delusional. In my professional medical opinion, I believe it's only a matter of time until he's unable to discern reality from fiction.
If my research is correct, you boys don't have access to Twitter over there, do you?
Wadsworth is your source, dude.
No, we don't have Twitter in Vietnam.
You recently posted from Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I think it's worth going to check that out.
Thailand.
When did he... are you sure?
Yes. Well, I can send you a screenshot to verify.
And then they started talking about Thailand. It's like, we're not going to Thailand. This is insane.
Okay, I'll be in touch.
All
right, bye.
Good day, boys.
4 max hours away, 5.
I don't care.
We've already come literally halfway across the world.
And yes, I saw the screenshot, and it does look like for the first time Anthony Bourdain is where Wadsworth says he's going to be. But I don't want to go to Thailand. It's going to take like 3 planes to get to where we have to go. And this is just insane to me. This whole thing is insane. I'm not going, bro. Absolutely not. Mark. Mark.
Here he comes. He's still pissed off. He'll get over it.
So it only took a couple hours, but it turns out that Mark will, in fact, be joining me in Chiang Mai, Thailand, because let's face it, I'm paying for the trip, and he really doesn't have a choice.
Acting like this is fucking the worst thing in the world.
I would love to be here under different circumstances.
Well, exactly what circumstances would they be, Mark? Would it have been better if...
Searching for fucking Anthony Bourdain? Yeah, it would
Okay,
be a lot.
well, just a few days ago you were gung-ho about it.
I was never gung-ho about it. Not for 1 second.
Well, now you're here, so we gotta make the best of it, so stop being a little bitch.
We're here in Chiang Mai, first morning, up bright and early to get this quest started. We're in the process of looking for clues in any sort of Instagram, the tagging of places, but we are positive that he's here, and we just got to figure out exactly which restaurants they've been filming. So we think we have a name of a restaurant. Power technology.
ใช่เขาเขียนว่าร้านฉ่ำฉาลาบ
Never been so nervous and excited at the same time. Okay, so we're here in Chiang Mai, here for less than 24 hours. We have no idea where Anthony Bourdain is, but we do know the exact location of a restaurant that he's been now for several times.
This is why I came to Southeast Asia. This is blood, sweat, tears, determination, years of hard work rolled into one, finally about to pay off. This is exactly what Hostile Living needs to put us on the map. There's no turning back. Let's do it.
I wasn't even sure what I was thinking. All the social media evidence said that Anthony Bourdain had been at this restaurant days before, hours before. So, I don't know. Who knows?
Gonna go back to the hostel, shower, shave, change into something more professional.
Unfortunately, I know exactly what Ray's talking about when he says something more professional. When we started getting real production jobs, Ray thought it was necessary for him to start looking more like a real director. So basically, he started playing dress up, walking around, looking and acting like this pretentious douchebag Hollywood director, calling himself Bronson Youngblood, and he thinks it makes him look more professional, but really, he just looks like a tool.
I'm so fed up with this kid.
I know it, I feel it, this is meant to be, and let's do it, let's do it.
Dude, aren't you hot right now? It's like 90 degrees out here.
Dude, I'm sweating my fucking balls off.
Yeah.
It's what you call sacrifice, right? Come halfway across the world, we can't try to meet Anthony Bourdain looking like a bunch of scrubs, okay? I think this is it right here. As long as we find these hearts, this is definitely a place. Yeah. Is that it right there? Alright, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Why are you more excited about this, dude? We're about to fucking meet Anthony Bourdain.
I am excited.
I told you, dude. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. You didn't believe me.
Sure didn't.
I'm not leaving there until we meet Anthony Bourdain.
Now that Ray has created this alternate personality for himself, I feel like the boys may be in for a bit of a bumpy road ahead. I hate to say it, but this could be the beginning of the end for the hostel living boys.
Margaret, listen, do me a favor. Would you mind going out by the street and just looking out for him? Because if he rolls out, because he rolls up right now, going to be unprepared, and I just need like a 10 to 15 second heads up.
Alright, so we've been here for like 2 hours. I am sweating. I guarantee you Ray is sweating his ass off right now. He sent me across the street. As of right now, Ray just ordered a beer and he started drinking, and that's probably not a good sign because he's like stressing so bad right now. Ray has been over there drinking. I don't know really how much he's had, but he's looking drunk now. This is actually kind of a pathetic scene. I think Ray thought he would be here by now, and he's looking really disappointed that he's not. Just so tired of being here. Ray has been over there pounding beers and talking to himself. This is so sad. I wonder who he's talking to. We've been here basically all day. The restaurant owners are completely done with Ray. He's now completely hammered. He looks like he's sleeping over there. I don't know. I'm really not looking forward to the aftermath of this. Ray. Ray. You gotta wake up, dude. You have to wake up. You're sleeping.
I'm not sleeping.
Well,
just shut up. It's so hot.
Dude, I'm not standing out there anymore.
I'm sick of this.
I am sick of this.
Fucking shut up.
Dude, you're sitting here drinking. No,
I'm not leaving anywhere. I'm not leaving anywhere until Tony's here. Just shut up.
Dude, he's not coming. You need to accept that, man. We've been here for hours.
Fucking negative, dude. I'm so fucking pissed off, dude. You're so fucking negative. Dude, I'm so fucking. You're so. You haven't once said one fucking positive thing this entire fucking trial. I'm in the fucking trip.
I don't see how this could possibly have ended in a positive way.
depends on the context. If you're in the United States and you say a traditional, authentic Thai restaurant, to me that has come to mean a standard Thai restaurant in America.
So tomorrow marked exactly 1 year to the day that this entire crazy fiasco started. Thailand, Vietnam, the quest to find Anthony Bourdain, and to say the least, it's been a very long and exhausting year. As you know, Hostel Living is a production company and a travel show. Really a travel show about a production company who's trying to make it. But more than that, Hostel Living is a lifestyle brand that champions hard work, determination, a fake-it-till-you-make-it mentality with the unwillingness to give up. For example, for the past year, we've been trying to get Mr. Bourdain to watch the video that you just saw. And to be honest, it's been next to impossible. But here at Hostel Living, impossible just means it's time to get creative. In the next few hours, we're going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign in a daring attempt to raise enough money to buy 1 hour of Mr. Bourdain's time for him to watch our Vietnam adventure. I've said it many times before, but this really could be a game changer for Hostel Living. So now it's time to go get ready, put the finishing touches on the campaign, because at this very moment, we really are the masters of our own destiny.
Our next guests have traveled the world chasing their dream to produce a new travel show for the internet. But while most producers look for as large an audience as they can, these guys are focusing on an audience of one. They're trying to catch the attention of TV chef and personality Anthony Bourdain. And they have a Kickstarter campaign going on in hopes of making that possible.
Their show is called Hostel Living, and today on Bridge Street we have the director of photography Mark Kelly along with the director-producer Ray Williams are joining us. Good morning.
Thank you.
Morning. Thanks for being here.
So all in all, the whole Kickstarter campaign was way more difficult than I was anticipating. I was going into it pretty apprehensive in the first place. I thought it was a pretty ridiculous idea, and I had no faith in it whatsoever.
That's why we're trying to raise as much money as we can and get as many backers as we can.
Here's the crazy part, to buy 1 hour of Anthony Bourdain's time.
But at the end of it, it definitely exceeded my expectations in terms of how much money we raised and all the positive feedback we were getting from everyone. And I think it was actually a pretty cool way to finally put ourselves out there and let everyone know what we've been doing. One of the highlights of the campaign was definitely getting staff pick and being selected as a featured project on the Kickstarter site. When we started this thing, we weren't even sure if they were going to approve the project. I mean, like, who crowdfunds a celebrity? So it was definitely nice being recognized by Kickstarter and highlighted on their site when they see thousands of projects every year.
Okay, so here we are in New York for the last and final update. It's been close to a year and a half since this entire nightmare of a journey started. You know, to get the attention of Bourdain, to have him watch the film, hopefully get a cameo. And I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm elated to tell you that the Kickstarter that nobody thought was going to work, not one person, has in fact worked. We got his attention. He has agreed to screen the video with us there, which is amazing. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So we were given an address. I highly doubt that this is his house because, let's face it, there's no way that he wants us to know where he lives. I don't blame him. But we're here. It's time to see what the next chapter of Hostel Living looks like.
You decided against the glasses and the scarf?
Oh, I did, and you know why. But if you're gonna call me out. Basically, I looked at the footage and I came to the realization that I looked like a massive tool, basically. That getup didn't make me look more professional or a director, but obviously I'm still rocking the blazer because, you know,
First impressions are important. Put the camera away, let's do this, and yeah.
Mr. Bourdain, the guys are here.
Is it already filming right now?
Actually, we had something else planned for you.
This is not my finest hour, by the way.
Oh my god. Hey guys, literally one more minute. Thanks, dude. What the?
So, actually, I mean, it wasn't as bad as that looked.
Yeah. Surprisingly, it actually bounced like right back up.
Yeah, it was like a sort of a
Hostile
ricochet.
living?
So, actually, it's hostile. So it's Hostile, hostile, because nothing that we do is ever easy at all.
This is brilliant. This is like Citizen fucking Kane.
I think that's a bit of a stretch, but
What's a stretch?
Citizen Kane. Yeah, I don't really see a comparison, but
What are you talking about? I've actually heard that same thing before. Citizen Kane.
yeah.
I told you about that.
What? And why was I not involved in this project? Why? Why?
Mr. Bourdain, we have literally been trying to get your attention now for a year and a half. You know, Thailand, Vietnam, we were right on your trail the entire time, but you kept escaping, basically.
I think he's being sarcastic.
No, I mean, he obviously gets hundreds of requests every day, if not thousands, of fans wanting to meet him, so.
Why?
Okay, now that is clearly sarcasm. He's clearly busting our balls. Looking back, Vietnam is one of those places that has the ability to restore your faith in humanity. But I was so caught up with the task at hand that I almost didn't realize it until it was too late. But isn't that indicative of the human condition? To be a part of something so amazing and not realize its true value until it's gone? The Vietnamese experience is like traveling back in time. But on your way home, sometime between then and now, your magical time machine breaks down, only to find yourself in a country that seems to be in the midst of an identity crisis, caught between trying to maintain its refreshingly simple and traditional values while emerging as one of the fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia. In a way, I don't even want to share this information with you. I want to selfishly hide its true identity and location so that I can go back in a few years and have the same experience and have nothing change. I want the people to be as kind and welcoming next time as they were this time. But sadly, over the past year and a half, I have viewed this entire experience as having only two possible outcomes: success and failure. Failure as having gone through this entire process without getting the attention of Mr. Bourdain. And success, that feeling of approval and finality that would naturally accompany that point in which all of our hard work and determination finally paid off. In the end, it's not until now that I finally realized that there was never a real sense of failure to be had throughout the course of this journey.
I have to say, initially, I had my doubts about the nature of this trip. However, I've always believed in the mental fortitude and persistence of young Raymond. I believe he can do anything he puts his mind to. I'm very proud of the boys. Although this may have been the trip where they have finally matured from the hostile living boys into the hostile living men.
And lastly,
It's important to note that instead of taking the money that we raised during the Kickstarter, Mr. Bourdain chose to donate it to the Wounded Warriors Family Support Organization, which only demonstrates his true kind-hearted nature. I've said it a million times, but throughout the course of this journey, there's been many highs and lows. But seeing the money go to the men, women, and their families who have served this country really puts most of our problems into perspective. So once again, we'd like to thank Mr. Bourdain and everyone who made this story possible.